So here's this guy called Mr. Deebleshop, right? I guess this video is to him. And just because I said to Jeff Buys Cars, right, suggested using AI to make a legal representation, this Mr. Deebleshop, it's called. Mr. Deebleshop. He's basically rubbished me and said, oh, well, Black Belt Barrister says that you shouldn't use ChatGPT or AI to do legal arguments because it's rubbish, right? Well, this is the difference between, asking a 4-year-old to make you a cake and actually getting a proper recipe out and making a cake and measuring it out to the exact recipe ingredients properly, right? Look, he's put awful suggestion using AI to build a legal case. Look at Black Belt Barrister's video where he asks ChatGPT and Claude questions and how badly wrong they get it. Right. Firstly, you don't ask the AI to build you a legal case. You build a legal case with the assistance of AI to do things that it can do that you can't, right? And you do things that it can or that it's not good at, right? It's like a bike. If you ask a bike to go to the shop, right, and get you a loaf of bread, it ain't going to go far, right? And if you get on a motorbike with floppy arms, right, you're going to run into the hedge and crash, right? But the motorbike is capable of getting you to town with immense convenience, much quicker than walking and running and getting out of breath. But you've got to get hold of the handlebars and steer them where you want it to go, and then you got to keep balance on it, right? And you got to have fuel in it, right? Or it ain't going to go anywhere without fuel, right? The concept of getting an AI and typing into it, build me a legal case, right? Now, I'm not even going to watch Black Belt Barrister's video because I know exactly what it's going to be like. Now, let's get this clear, right? I don't even use ChatGPT. I'd heard about people talking about it. Oh, ChatGPT. It sounds crap anyway. Chit, chat. It sounds like a chat magazine that you get out in a corner shop off the shelf, right? Now, I have been keeping away from AI because I'm just opposed to the concept of it, right? But I heard Robert F. Kennedy Jr. say that, the American government want to use it to solve medical problems and things like that. I'm totally against all this surveillance, right? And actually, once I've started using it, I know exactly what the government want it for, which is completely unethical, and then even asked us permission, right? But they're already really doing it. But anyway, only in the last month or two, like literally through March and just now into April, right? I'd seen it. I'd seen the little Google Gemini, and they've got the use AI in search, right? But I've been ignoring it. And I was like, I'm not going to use it because I'm against it, right? And I'd heard people talking about ChatGPT a little bit. Now, I hadn't been on ChatGPT at all. But this Gemini ended up getting presented to me even more sort of shoved in front of me when I was on. I don't even know what I was doing. I was doing something and then it just sort of, I don't know how, but it appeared, right? And I'd already been doing my own legal cases and research, right? But it was just a moment when I thought, right, I'll try it. Now, I started with Gemini. But I asked Gemini, how many people are using Gemini compared to that ChatGPT. Now, Gemini has actually admitted that it's actually nowhere near as popular as ChatGPT. In fact, everyone's using ChatGPT really and not Gemini. Gemini has got even though it's Google and Google's the biggest search engine and the most popular thing with Google Drive and Gmail and all this other stuff, right? Gemini has admitted that ChatGPT is the more popular AI platform. Why is that? just because it's cool, fashionable, trendy, it's managed to captivate the nation because it's casual chat. And then I asked ChatGPT, no, not ChatGPT, sorry. I asked Gemini, how many people are actually using Gemini or AI, well, actually using ChatGPT and Gemini to actually do like complaints and letters to the government and things like that. And he actually said only really about sort of 10 to 15%. Now, obviously, if Black Belt Barrister is going to rubbish shit and put out crap videos dissuading people, and he's asking it questions, right? It's only as good as someone getting on a bike and pedaling it, right? If you can't ride a bike, you're going to crash. And if you purposely ride the bike like a gay boy, right? If you put like a baseball bat on back to front, right? A baseball hat on, not bat. If Black Belt Barrister, right, puts a baseball hat on back to front, like in a tie with polka dots, and has like an easy rider and drives down the road with one hand on the handlebars, like waving it left and right, going, "Wee! Look at this! Like it's unsafe. Look at this!" Right? It's going to be crap. Now, no barrister in this whole country is ever going to go on anything and do it so it writes off the entire fucking barrister sector, so they've got no business. Only a fool barrister will go on there and show you how to expertly use something that wrote off his whole business, so he hasn't got a job to do, right? Because he'd have no money then, no income, because no one would need his advice. You wouldn't even need his advice or to watch his videos, right? Now, let's get this clear. I picked up Gemini very quickly and realised what was going on with it. It's basically a bit like a calculator. So you type in something and then press the button and it calculates it. But instead of numbers, when you type in numbers in a calculator, there's literally no time at all. When you press the button, the answer is there, immediately computes it. So if you've got, 10 million divided by, 459,000, as soon as you press the button, it's just there. The answer is on the screen. Even on a fucking solar-powered calculator, a little bit of sunshine comes on it, it gets a little bit of power. You type in the numbers, like, really complicated numbers that you couldn't even work out with your fingers in a fucking week, right? You push the button, it calculates it. Now, AI is like a calculator for meaning. It's not perfect. It isn't perfect, because the thing with meaning is you can have alternate meaning and interpretation, but it's similar to a calculator for logic and meaning. And also it makes use of the Google search engine capabilities. Now, for legal cases, without a doubt, right? You can get into National Archives, you can intelligently ask it to search the database for specific things and look through the entire database, which would take you absolutely fucking days, if not years, right? You got to drive all the way to Kew Gardens if you haven't got university access. You've got to go onto the computer console and you've got to search through ProQuest, right? For things that aren't available on the government website. Really valuable, important information. The entire Hansard collection, the entire debates of Hansard, everything that any MP has ever fucking said in the history of fucking England, right, is searchable, right? Tell me how many times MPs talked about this or that, right? How many times did an MP mention a fucking poodle in history? In 1753, in 1864, right? No barrister in England right, is going to go into National Archives and be able to find that amount of information in an hour, right? You're talking a week, and that is going to cost you £20,000 for him just to go fucking looking there, right? That AI can look through those archives like that. So don't tell me, right, where some goofball sat there on ChatGPT going, I'm going to build a legal case, well, this is crap, right? If you want to start building your own legal case with the assistance of AI, and you want to give it instructions and tell it to do task 1, it can do task 1 where no barrister on the face of this fucking planet can do that task in that amount of time. And if you want to check, you can check the results, right? You can check them, get them verified, and even get another chat thing to get them verified, right? Then you've got data. Then you get some more data. Then you say, can you fetch me all the laws on this or that which apply? It will search and find them and bring you them in. Then you say to it, what is the general principle through these laws which applies? And it will tell you, right? You are steering the AI with handlebars where you want to go with it. If you are not a retard, right? Not like, ChatGPT. Okay, like, you know, fucking Scotty on Star Trek. Computer, build me a fucking whale fucking tank, right? It doesn't work like that. And I'm quite sure that that's how Black Belt Barrister was selling it. Like, computer, oh, it's Scotty, beam me up. Build me a fucking legal case, right? No. The AI doesn't build the legal case. You build the legal case, and you tell AI what to do, right? And when you don't say, what's the best legal argument for this or that? You say, here are the laws, and you ask it to compute the logic on this or that for each aspect of it and things like that. You got to go through it step by step. And then once you've got your legal basis all together and you know what laws apply and facts, every case is usually unique. If you've had an incident, right, whatever happened to you is unique to your incident. But you can also say, you can get it to find, if you had an argument with a friend and you got into a scuffle and you had you ended up, sort of having a fight, right? A fray or whatever. What it can do is you can say, find me 20 case studies of a phrase. And then you type in what happened to you and you say, this is what happened to me. Find me 20 specimen cases which were very similar to my case. And if you write out what happened to you in a thorough statement, the more you write in about your experience and statement, the more of an exact match it can find from published case studies. And then you've got a very similar case to what happened to you. And then you can put your statement and say, using the same legal basis as they used in that case, can you apply it to mine logically and intelligently to explain my situation with the same legal principles, right? You don't sit there like a goofball going, ChatGPT, build me a case, right? At all. You have to get on it like a motorcycle rider, which is a limp motorcycle, which is just going to fucking flop over if you don't handle it properly, right? And, you don't want to use ChatGPT anyway, because after I'd done my casework on Gemini and I put it into ChatGPT and uploaded the file to check it, it said it was all wrong when it was actually fucking immaculate. The reason is that ChatGPT is not as intelligent as Gemini. It's actually not as good as it. It hasn't got as extensive internet access and connectivity, and it's actually not as intelligent as working things out. And in Gemini, you've got different modes, like Pro mode for mathematics, thinking mode, and then fast mode, right? And then even when you've done it on Gemini, if you upload it without all your links and JSON files and things where you told it where you got the information from, it might not actually mark it as a high quality as when you first did it. If you don't actually, when you got information, it's got to be verifiable. If you save all the links where you got the information from and all the JSON files with the logic in it and everything like that, all stored in the file, when the AI checks it, it needs to understand how you came to that conclusion and what it fucking used, right? So it's not a case of just like asking it to build a case. And then when you build the case, then you ask it what the weaknesses in the case are. And it's actually a good thing if it finds out that it's not that good, because then you go to the parts that are weak and you strengthen them and you build them up, and you've got a reason with logic on it. What you've got to actually do with it is, once you've built a case, then you've got to test it. And then when it says that you're not right, you go actually argue it as if you are arguing with another barrister. And it's actually good when you put it into ChatGPT from Gemini and upload it, and ChatGPT says you're wrong when you're clearly not, because it doesn't know what you know. And then you've got to fucking explain it to it and fill it in where it didn't know this or that. And then it understands. You're actually teaching it, right? And that's where you're putting more information into the filing case. And then when you actually beat ChatGPT with your case because you proved that it was wrong and it didn't know what it was fucking talking about, and you did, then it's being tested. And then you can even grade it compared to university papers equal university work. I've had my all my work graded now to a very high standard because I've tested it and been persistent to improve it, right? And then you got a solid case, and then it doesn't matter what AI you put it in, it checks through it, all the information's there, it fully understands the basis of it, where you got your information from, that all your sources are correct, that the legal basis is sound, and it will approve it, tick, 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 right? Because you are doing it. You can't just leave the AI to do it. Now, there is some AI that probably can do it by themselves, but like I say, they are the really expensive versions, not the one that Black Belt Barrister was like just joyriding with when he was doing his example, right? There is no barrister in this whole country, right, who is going to go onto an AI and show you how to perfectly, expertly build a fucking case up to a King's Counsel Silk standard, which it can easily do, right? Because that is going to put barristers out of business, and they're not even going to have a fucking job. No barrister in their right mind would show you how to do that, right? But it can be done, and you can use it for that, but you don't just expect it to do it itself. It does the things that are laborious or boring or that take ages to do, and it makes them a lot quicker, right? Like, and even the AI learns things. I was in one mode on Gemini, and it told me to do a task which was going to take me ages to copy paste a certain thing that I wanted. And then the other mode just said, like on the Pro mode, it says, oh, why aren't you using this website or program? And I'm like, oh, right. And the other mode didn't even think of that. And then when I told the other mode, it says, oh, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Why didn't I think of that? And I said, well, that's a good point. The other mode thought of that, right? So you've got to know what you're looking at, right? When you're on the AI, you've got to know, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is it doing? How does it work? How can I make use of that and the things that it's really good at, like searching particular databases? Go through Hansard and tell me every time an MP said the word poop, right? And it will fucking bring you a list of every single time in Hansard that an MP has said the word poop, and those will be the actual fucking entries in the entire history of Hansard, right? No barrister is going to go through fucking Hansard manually, page by page, and fucking search for the word poop, because it will take them fucking weeks, and it will charge you £50,000, right, when you can go and get that data yourself. No barrister or solicitor wants you to use that AI expertly to build the most rock-solid diamond fucking case on planet Earth and then hand it to them. So all they've got to do is walk into the court and fucking read it out to the judge, right? Fully understanding it and has researched it beforehand, because they can only charge you a fucking grand. A grand. Ooh, this is grand, this. Well, it is when you go in there and come back out an hour fucking later and then we win the case, right? Don't tell me, right, that barristers are going to teach you how to do their fucking job for them and even beat them, right, with the assistance of that AI, because then they're not going to have massive wads of cash in their pocket. They're just going to have like a grand with an elastic fucking band around it, not 20 grand. Or not. And another thing, right, when AI knows that you are correct and that the argument is quite simple, it really doesn't like pumping out pages and pages and pages and pages of boring, repetitive stuff, right? So if you get a barrister who's got a 6-page paper, who's like Lord Hanningfield's privileges paper, right? The AI is going to want to do it in 3 pages because it thinks that the rest of it's a load of bollocks because it's pointless, right? The AI is thinking, just get to the fucking point, right? It doesn't want to give 3 pages. It only wants to give 1 or 2 pages, not 6 or 4 or whatever, right? However many. So all these barristers, in the Stonehenge case, when you've got 8 barristers, 8 bundles, 8 bundles, and they're still fucking lost, right? And it's not like one barrister who goes in with a book, and does it all. They've got 8 barristers in the room, right? And then one speaks while the others sit there in silence doing nothing, and then he delivers a bit of a speech, and then the next one talks and delivers a bit of speech while the rest are in silence, right? You're paying for 8 barristers and 8 fucking bundles of work, right? The AI is going to think that is the economical. That is not economical. And it's not economical in money. And it's not economical in paper, printing and ink. And it's not economical in time, because you need 8 people. And that when one's speaking, you've got 7 people in the room being paid 20 fucking grand to do nothing while one's speaking, right? When they could have just sent one in doing all the work. That's AI. But effectively, you're being scammed. You're being ripped off, right? Now, no one's saying that they might not put a lot of work into those bundles, right? But, are these barristers in it for the money? Are they in it for the money? And are they the ones who are taking all the time up in the courts and taking all the money up when it could be done in 3 pages of fact done, right? This is the thing. So, these barristers don't want to lose their business and go out of business. And this is the thing. I don't like AI in the sense that, social media is making a lot less communication between human beings. It's not a good thing, but it's gonna go that way, like fucking Buck Rogers with Dr. Theopolis on the fucking table, walking in with Dr. Theopolis around his neck soon, right? As it stands, I think the AI is quite reasonable, right? And it's got absolutely amazing capabilities to help. Now, if they're used to snoop on us and spy on us and keep us under control by punishing us for every single thing we do wrong in his own privacy of his own house, and the government spying on every single thing we do, it's going to be quite an oppressive planet, really. And that's that the government definitely want to do that. In fact, they've even, they're clearly sort of doing it unofficially. That, there's no doubt that the government are using all this tech on us already now, but they just can't officially declare it, right? So, but they want to make it official so they can officially say, right, you've done this wrong, you've done that wrong, you've done that wrong, you're fucked, right? But at the moment, I am investigating this government without even needing to get access to all, classified stuff or stuff that's not available because it's not online or whatever. There's enough things that the government have blatantly, clearly, obviously done wrong out in the open, which already compromises the whole government. But they're trying to get out of it and they're trying to use it against us and say, we're the naughty ones. Oh, no. The problem with this government is that it's only as bad as everyone else. It's equally as corrupt and criminal as anyone else, as the average person. The amount of things that these political parties have been done wrong in the government, and they don't want to be the ones who, step up onto the pedestal first. If we're all going to go, then they can get us to the front of the queue, right? They're going to have to stand at the front of the queue. The Attorney General's in place illegal. They've been doing all the election adverts illegal online. They haven't been enforcing it. They haven't been buying the permits for digital adverts. They're blocking us from e-petitions. They're blocking the ombudsman. They're trying to build a digital infrastructure with a new administration, which basically black holes our complaints. They're just going to the opaque black hole void of Daniel Greenberg and are never seen again, right? While they're building a surveillance structure around us, to dominate and conquer us. The civil servants are the worst culprits out of it, really. So, I don't really know what's going to happen to it and where it's going to go, but I highly recommend that you don't use ChatGPT, mainly because it's crap. I mean, after I used Gemini, it can make absolutely immaculate and brilliant tables and charts and graphs, really neat, like university style papers, right? And when I went on ChatGPT, it's extremely casual. It is literally it uses all these I've been using emojis, right? But the emojis that I use are quite subtle ones, right? On that ChatGPT, it's using all these explosive emojis and big exclamation marks and all this other stuff. It's very kid-like, childlike presentation on it, right? And the Gemini is totally different. It's got very neat tables and charts. It's all very professional. It's literally just like doing a university thing. So I'm really happy with it. It's only as good as the user, and that's the thing. And Black Belt Barrister, I mean, no offence to Black Belt Barrister, right? But he's not even a KC. He's not even a King's Counsel. And he's not a silk. He's just Black Belt Barrister at the moment. He's just a barrister. So I'm not saying that I'm not saying that I'm not trying to make out that he's useless or rubbish. Well, what I'm saying is his advice on that, he's given the worst possible advice that you can get on AI. And actually, maybe maybe Mr. DB Stop himself needs to go check some other videos. But, ChatGPT is not the best thing to use for doing legal representations with AI anyway. And you definitely don't ask it just to do it for you. And definitely not with a simple instruction. You need to go into really thorough, specific, descriptive, detailed instructions. And the more detail and specificity you put into it, the more precise it is. And sometimes it does just hypothesize or bring you some results back. Well, yeah, I just guessed them. But you've got to say, you've got to say, Gemini, have you just given me the average results, or have you actually given me the exact figures, and when it quotes something, you've got to ask it. You got to make sure, you got to give it commands. When I type into it, right, I type into it like it's a calculator or like a command prompt, right? Because I never did coding. you know, there are all these people who do like coding, like can code computer games and stuff like that. I did a little bit of coding, but I don't know the language for coding. But the AI, you don't need to be an internet coder because it's coded to our language. So the great thing about it is that because you don't have all these obscure prompts that you need to learn and remember, like what is the prompt for this, and get a manual out and look through it. Oh, how do I put the command in for this or that? It's like the old school computer, which you could do like mega things with if you were a nerd and knew all the command prompts, right? You could build a fucking Bill Gates fucking empire, right? If you knew how to code, you could build yourself a computer game, right? But you don't need to get a manual out and learn the coding language, right? Because it's actually the thing with those AI things is that it's in normal English. So when you say, Gemini, build me a chart. On the left column, I want the names of the political parties. Across the top columns, I want the dates from 2007, and then a row for each date from left to right. And then I want you to go get all the figures from the internet, the actual figures, please, Gemini. Fully audit them and thoroughly check them, and make sure you search these websites, like this website, that website, that website, that website, to at least include those, and then find others, and then populate the charts with these specific figures for these things, and it'll do it like that. Or like, how did it just construct a chart exactly how I asked it to? Look at that. There's a chart, and down the left-hand side, like everything that I said I wanted there, and across the top is everything I said that I wanted there, and there are all the numbers. And then you say, can you double check those are the correct figures? And then you put it into another program like ChatGPT and say, can you verify these figures? And if it says no, then say, well, tell me which websites you checked. And then if it hasn't checked all the websites, and you say, why the fuck didn't you check those other websites? You know, this is how you use it, right? You don't sit there like Black Belt Barrister going, ChatGPT, let's build a legal case, like that, right? And so it's crap, right? You make it good. You make sure it is good, right? Because you check it and you tell it to do what you want it to do and make sure that it has fucking done it, right? And then it will be the best possible legal case that can ever be fucking made to mankind because you got the best technology and the best person to build it, right? Now, if you say, well, actually, like, I was hoping to do it because, I just wanted someone to do it for me, then by all means, pay Black Belt Barrister. But you don't pay Black Belt Barrister to go into National Archives for 3 days looking for, legal case examples, because it's going to cost you 20 grand. And it's unlikely like that he's going to go do it anyway. He'll just get the fucking reference book out and use the standard case studies for this or that, which means that he might not be making the best case possible, right? Because you can't afford to pay him to go to National Archives and look through every fucking case for 3 days, right? And if you don't pay him to do that, he's not going to do it. But he might be using ChatGPT to do that to help him save him time. But he might actually not tell you that, and he might still charge you, ever X, and not say, oh, actually, by the way, I did use ChatGPT to check through National Archives, and it did save me going in there for 3 days. So, instead of charging you £20,000, I'm only going to charge you £15,000. Whoop, 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 whoop. Oh, there's fucking alarm bells going off then, isn't there, right? Oh, sorry, sir, I overcharged you. I saved 3 days by using ChatGPT on my research, so there's a £5,000 back there. I'm going to discount you on that, right? That's what Black Belt Barrister ain't fucking telling you, and I ain't going to watch his video on that ChatGPT because I've got an idea exactly of what he's going to be doing with it, and I don't think that it's the best fucking AI program to use for it. It's a it's a chat magazine, morning TV show style thing. It's not professional. It's the wrong program to use for an example.